science,
engineering,
medicine,
chemistry,
physics,
biology, humanities, cardiology,
entrepreneurship, public health, global health,
aeronautics, science communication.
Hello everyone, I'm Gareth Mitchell. Today, a special themed edition for you to celebrate Imperial's Enterprise Month. It's been running for the whole of March. Stand by for some uplifting stories.
For a very long time, I'd lost my joy. For a very long time, I'd become something to others and nothing was left for myself. And the programme has taught me how to manage myself emotionally, actually to see where I needed help.
That's just one of many stories from the Agents for Change Women's Leadership programme. We'll be hearing all about that. And also today, the award-winning innovator who has a new kind of orthopaedic cast. And playful entrepreneurship. I'll be chatting with author, innovator and academic David Gann.
The Imperial College Podcast.
Let's start with a bit of news, and if you're listening with especially sensitive earbuds or headphones, you might be able to hear a bit of hubbub behind us outside the studio. We've got a whole load of students finishing project work at this crucial point in term, and I didn't have this heart to go and tell them to be quiet. So it's all going on here. It's so exciting. Lots of student work going on, but lots of focus on what's going on the news agenda going on here on the podcast. To start with Ryan O'Hare, and we're going to start by talking about health, aren't we?
Hi Gareth, yes, that's right. So we had lots and lots of coverage this month around a study led by Kaushik Ray from the School of Public Health. He had a paper which describes a new class of drug which could help to lower cholesterol and may actually be suitable for patients who are unable to take statins.
So this must be, apart from anything, almost like a holy grail of medicine, cardiovascular medicine, trying to think of alternatives to statins then.
It is. I mean, lowering cholesterol is very, very important. So many people take medicines to reduce their levels of LDL cholesterol. That's the bad cholesterol. And this is the stuff which can build up in the blood vessels. Too much of it can cause blockages, which again increases the chances of you having a heart attack or stroke. So keeping it down is very important. Lots of patients are prescribed statins to cut their cholesterol and reduce this risk, but not everyone is able to take the drugs. For example, a small number of patients complain about side effects such as muscle pains. And this new treatment called bempedoic acid reduces LDL cholesterol levels, but doesn't appear to have the same side effects. So it could potentially provide an alternative for some patients.
How does it work?
Well, like statins, it's taken as a pill and it interferes with the enzymes which make cholesterol. So in this case, it inhibits the body's ability to essentially create the building blocks of LDL cholesterol. But unlike statins, it's only active in the liver, so it doesn't produce the same sort of side effects. And in the latest study, more than 2,200 patients at increased risk of heart attack and stroke took either the drug or a placebo on top of their usual statins. And what the researchers found was that those taking the drug, after 3 months, they saw their LDL cholesterol levels reduced by an average of 18% compared to the placebo.
Wow. So where next? Where does this leave us?
Well, the findings they're exciting, but the drug is yet to be approved in the UK and Europe, so it may be a while before it's available. The company behind the treatment are applying for licenses in Europe, but ultimately the researchers believe it could be added to the arsenal of existing cholesterol-lowering drugs, and either added to statins or taken on its own to help patients reduce their cholesterol and their risk of heart attack and stroke.
Great. Ryan, thank you very much indeed for that. Now, also here is Hayley Dunning. And Hayley, we're going to be talking about dinosaurs now. And you might assume that we know an awful lot about the dinosaurs, but there's always something new to learn, isn't it? So what's this story all about?
Right, so scientists agree pretty much that the asteroid strike finished them off, but there's been questions about whether they were already on the decline. Some scientists have suggested that really long-term climate changes as the land was shifting around would have actually caused them to start to die out already, so they were already sort of on the way out and then this just finished them off. But new research shows that that's not actually true. They seem to have been doing totally fine.
Tell me a bit more about this new research then.
Well, it's based on the fossils of dinosaurs in North America in particular. And this is because this is where we have some of the best preservation of fossils. But what the researchers found was that in the last few millions of years of the dinosaurs' reign, it's actually the possibility for fossils to be preserved went down. So it's not that there were less species of dinosaurs or less diversity or less dinosaurs in total. It's just that they had less chance of being preserved.
So they're a bit limited in terms of if there weren't enough fossils to look at for this. So away from fossils, how did they figure all this out then?
Well, they actually used a technique used in modern ecological studies called ecological niche modelling. So they looked at what the climate would have been in certain areas, the temperature, the rainfall, that sort of thing, and looked at where fossils had been found, what kind of environments there were, and then where those environments still existed as time went on. So they found that these dinosaurs could have actually lived in a much wider range than where their fossils were subsequently found.
Wow, amazing. Hayley, thank you very much indeed for that. That is our news section. Plenty more at imperial.ac.uk/news. Well, March is Enterprise Month here at Imperial. 4 weeks of showcases, competitions and exhibitions showing off the very best in Imperial innovation and entrepreneurship. Our special themed edition on innovation at Imperial begins in White City with reporter Debbie Evanson.
We're here in the Invention Rooms at Imperial College London's White City campus to find out about Agents for Change, a unique programme that is empowering local women to lead, achieve their potential and strengthen their communities. It's a 6-month programme and it's the first community-based women's leadership programme in the UK, specifically focused on the needs of women in the White City area. We're here to talk to Carol Fraser, one of the participants on the programme, to find out more about her journey.
I originally was working in the city for corporate organisations, and my last career was working in the mental health sector. My daughter suffered a nervous breakdown from bullying at school, and I'd lost a lot of my confidence caring for my daughter, and I have a mother who has physical and mental needs as well. And I kind of lost myself there somewhere, from working in a really dynamic environment to then having to leave that and become someone who supported my family. And joining the Agents for Change programme, I found myself. And I look back and I thought of the things I did, because I kind of felt like, I'm not that person anymore. I probably can't do this. Who am I to aspire to these things? But what I found was the self-development in thinking about myself differently gave me more confidence and self-esteem to find that I do have these creative skills that I can offer people that can help them, because I was a bit skeptical of myself and wondering, I always knew I loved it as a passion. I treated it more as a hobby, and now I'm treating it more as a business, and it's so much better now. We changed our whole lifestyle around. So I'm now a vegan nutritionist. I run workshops in supporting people with their health, and it's actually taking off quite rapidly in terms of how I feel about myself, what I'm doing, and being more assertive. So it's been an amazing journey.
What have you enjoyed most about being part of the Agents for Change programme?
Gosh, that's so difficult. What have I enjoyed the most? The energy. The energy with the women, being connected to some wonderful people that I would never have met before. What they've given us has exceeded my expectations, to be honest. It's been marvellous. This programme will give you personal growth, business development, insight, and this is the ideal programme to do it, to go on to do better for yourself and better for others. It would be great for people to see a women's network develop, see the wonderful things that are happening, and keep this going, because it's a great pilot and it can impact on a lot of lives, whether women or men and young people coming up. We all need inspiration. We all need someone to look up to. It's also a magnificent way of engaging with the community as well. There's so much we can do with this, and I think it should just keep going, because I can see great things happening.
Would you mind telling us those things that you've discovered about yourself during the programme?
For a very long time, I'd lost my joy. For a very long time, I'd become something to others and nothing was left for myself. And I'd been searching for that kind of joy again and being able to have that balance back in my life. And the programme has taught me how to manage myself emotionally, actually to see where I needed help. I was quite low, very low actually, and I think it's really helped me develop again and find myself, and I'm so much happier in myself because I can see a way through and how I'm going to do it. And you know what is the greatest thing? I have a beautiful support network of women.
Well, what a remarkable story that is. That's Carol Fraser, who is talking there to Debbie Evanson. Well, now, a new kind of orthopaedic cast that's breathable, washable and easy to apply. Not only that, but it's an award-winning innovation, having scooped the top gong in Imperial's pioneering women's entrepreneurship programme, WE Innovate. Our reporter, Joanna Wilson, has been finding out more.
We're here with the winner of this year's WE Innovate programme, a women's entrepreneurship programme run by Imperial Enterprise Lab, which is designed to inspire and accelerate the progress of women entrepreneurs. Mint Suchaya won £15,000 in the WE Innovate final for her invention, Cadget, a new type of cast for broken limbs. Congratulations on winning in the final of the WE Innovate programme. First of all, could you just tell us a bit about Cadget for people who don't know what your innovation is?
It's a next generation cast that is breathable and washable, and as well as it's super easy to apply. It requires no additional casting equipment on the scene, so you just need to put it on, and it's accessible and suitable for any people in anywhere around the world.
So what inspired you to choose this project and to develop this new innovative cast?
Yeah, initially, when I was 7 years old, my dad broke his arm, but he still need to take me to the school and everything, and I kind of saw his difficulties on his daily routine, from washing a car to putting on his clothes. And this year, my final year, I have a module on orthopedics, which remind me of that story in my childhood time. So it motivates me to make a difference around this area. Yep.
So could you just tell us a bit about the WE Innovate programme and what your participation in the programme involved?
It's really a great program. I really recommend anyone to join it. And the participation involves weekly masterclass on wide range of topic, which is really useful to develop your business further, like the design masterclass or discover your customer, and also pitch simulation. And we also have one-on-one business coach and opportunity to meet and also pitching to more than 30 investors. And I feel like it's a great opportunity for any woman who want to start on their business but don't really know where to start. So why not taking a chance?
And could you just tell us a bit about what you enjoyed most about being on the WE Innovate programme?
I genuinely enjoy every bit of it because all of them make me grow so much in just a 4 months time. And I really enjoy every activity and enjoy seeing myself grow and have more responsibility. I learned to juggling between my study and doing side project, and as well as I learned to talk with a wide range of people because I have to interview my customer and talk to orthopedic surgeons, which really improved my social interaction.
Great. Were there any particular challenges whilst you were on the programme?
Yep, definitely, because I'm not really good expressing my idea before the WE Innovate, and I'm really scared of talking in front of large audience. But all of them, my business coach and the staff in WE Innovate program really helped me to develop this. And it's really great experience and would be valuable in the whole lifetime of mine.
And before you were on the programme, have you ever thought about doing business before or coming up with inventions?
Obviously, I have thought about it, but I haven't executed it. But this program really forced me to do with the deadline and every kind of stuff. So that's great to push the idea into the action.
So what are your next steps with Cadget?
I would definitely developing it on recruiting more specialists to join the project and make it not only functional but make people who broke their arms or broke their bones not feel like this is a burden of their life. I would like to continue doing it as my side project along my study because I plan to do the master here. I would like to make a prototype of it, working prototype, and definitely pilot it in the hospital in Thailand.
Do you have any advice or tips for other women who might be in your situation and interested in starting a business or developing a product or have an idea and aren't sure what to do with it?
From my experience, if you have an idea, just go for it. If you don't know where to start, don't afraid to reaching out for help. This is really great opportunity, so just go for it.
Wise words indeed. That's Mint Suchaya speaking to Joanna Wilson. Well, finally, in this special innovation edition, The Playful Entrepreneur. That's the title of David Gann's book, recently launched, that outlines a better way of working. David is Vice President Innovation here. His book's focus is on noble behaviours, fortitude, ambition, craft and grace. Through these, say David and his co-author Mark Dodgson of UQ Business School, organisations can thrive in an environment of playfulness and exploration. It's about getting the best out of people and being nimble, open-minded and ready to take on the challenges thrown at us all in uncertain times. Far from being one of those dry tomes in the business section at your local bookshop, The Playful Entrepreneur is full of uplifting case studies, historical examples, and even a few sci-fi references. Well, I've been reading the book and hearing more about it.
Unfortunately, I think in many countries, most countries, we have education systems that have a playground outside and a classroom inside. And they divorce these two elements. And what Mark Dodgson, my co-author, and I are trying to do with the word playful is rehabilitate it as part of an essential way of learning about the experiences that are around us.
And at one point you mentioned a legal practice which is trying to be playful by having its so-called playroom, and it's just a rather sad room with 4 beanbags in it. So that's not quite what you mean by play.
No, I mean, a lot of organisations, to their credit, are starting to loosen up a little bit. We need to make this a mainstream part of how we adults can enjoy learning and experimenting with the things we're not sure about.
Right, so down to brass tacks, this is about behaviour, isn't it? And you pick out 4 particular behaviours or virtues in the book as we go along. So talk us through some of these.
Well, the first one that will gel very well with the word entrepreneur. Most of the entrepreneurs we talk about in the book are ambitious to change the world, or their bit of it, in a particular way and make a difference. You know, this is a bit of a clarion call in our book to say, don't turn your back on being ambitious for something new.
And then you need fortitude. And you mention, for instance, Christopher Wren, definitely ambitious, definitely somebody with fortitude. You only have to stand in front of St. Paul's Cathedral and consider it took a decade or two to build, right on the back of the Civil War, the Great Fire of London, the plague before that. And he's trying to balance the interests of the clergy and Charles II and so on. Yeah, that cathedral didn't build itself, did it? That's an example of fortitude.
Yeah, well, the great entrepreneurs, the heroic individuals and their teams that do these things really have to work on it for the long haul. Big science, actually, has fortitude to do our experiments in CERN. Or, for example, in a world close to me nowadays, the fusion reactors at Culham, where we're trying to create fusion energy. You've got to have a long-term plan and have the fortitude to go through the speed bumps that will inevitably come in one's path.
And I suppose I could have anticipated that you need qualities like ambition and fortitude to be successful in anything, business or anywhere else. But you also mentioned grace. But, you know, you watch a programme like The Apprentice and you don't see a whole lot of grace and courtesy there. Why was that so important for you in this book to write a whole chapter about grace?
Well, actually, you mentioned The Apprentice, and one of the motivations for this book was trying to rebalance, I think, what's become quite a popular view of entrepreneurs. And, you know, you're hired, you're fired. Actually, that fuels the wrong view. One needs to remember to thank the team. And that is not just about the big I am. Dame Steve Shirley is a good example, actually. She had all sorts of hurdles in front of her and was extremely gracious in the way in which she shared her wealth and her success, and still does. She's a great philanthropist. So that's one angle of grace. The other one is the avoidance of hubris. You've got to have self-belief to be an entrepreneur, to succeed with your ambition. But you also have to keep an eye that you're not just believing your own story all the time. We all know the people who fail to listen.
Yeah, and it doesn't usually end well, does it?
It doesn't,
no.
No.
And people who are prepared to change, or maybe are forced to change their behaviour. And you mentioned John Newton, who wrote very famously Amazing Grace. that word again, a former slave ship owner, basically a pretty nasty piece of work. He ended up nearly being killed at sea several times in storms. And this is close to me just because my mother happens to live next door but one to the Cooper and Newton Museum in Olney. Wow. So I know the story quite well, but his is an example of somebody who can change. And I think it's fair to argue that he became graceful. Is there a business lesson in that?
I think there is, and many of us are hoping for the day where one of the world's most powerful men who leads the most powerful country in the world may actually change a little bit and gain a bit of grace. And another reason why it's important, Gareth, is that we're seeing a younger generation coming through our student cohorts these days who are not just interested in being entrepreneurs to make money. They're interested in social purpose and social enterprise. They want to make a difference. And what sort of role models do we want to point them to?
And reading your book, I was very surprised to read a business book that had mentioned William Morris. I don't think I've read many business books that celebrate the social utopianism or the socialist utopianism of William Morris. Why is he in the book?
In William Morris's day, it was about coordinating what was in the mind's eye with what practically you could achieve. And I think we see that in its modern incarnation today with people who are trying to develop machine learning, finding answers in data that might solve problems of cancer, diagnostics and so on. And to get there, we need to pursue these things with the degree of diligence and practice that's required to excel. And I think we show a number of our entrepreneurs have done that in the book.
And most importantly then, how can we all take these principles of fortitude, playfulness, grace, courtesy, all these things into our lives and become hopefully better people, but more successful in what we do?
Well, that's what the book's about. That's the whole book. And it really takes the playful entrepreneur as the example of some of the people who found their way to do that because they've managed to navigate and pivot when they've seen something in front of them that they didn't like or that was going to get in the way and move around it. And we're encouraging others that these behaviours can be used much more widely than just running as an entrepreneur.
David Gann, co-author of The Playful Entrepreneur. It's out now. I recommend it. Well, that brings this special innovation-themed edition to an end. Of course, you can stay in touch with what's going on around the college via our fabulous news website. That's imperial.ac.uk/news. And for Twitter goings-on, and we warmly recommend our Twitter handle @ImperialSpark. Well, I'm Gareth Mitchell, and I'll have more for you in a few weeks' time. See you then, folks. Take care, and goodbye.